So I would say we are really a global company.
What are the chances, one, that you have the ability to protect your investment, and second, the probability of getting higher returns?
Are talking about somewhere between 30 to $100,000. That the product that they are trying to build is something that can really be revolutionary.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode on Hash It Out, the VC series. Finding and investing in the next alpha is the primary theme of this while we talk to our foundership ecosystem, capital partner network, and get the insights of how do venture capital ecosystem look at investing in the next alpha, and could you be the one that could be raising funds from our capital network of ecosystem partners. So my name is Bimlesh Gundurao. I'm the co-founder at Foundership. We are a Web3 accelerator VC working with global early stage startups, and startups are looking to get token launch ready. So we run different cohort programs. So if you are one of those startups looking to get your token launch in the next 3 to 6 months, check out foundershiphq.com and check out our Get Token Launch Ready programs, where we help you get ready in 90 days. So without further ado, today I'm super excited to have Stan from Yellow Capital join us today. Welcome, Stan. Welcome to Hash It Out.
Hello, Bimlesh. Hello. Pleasure to be here. Thank you for hosting me today.
Fantastic. So why don't we do a quick introduction, share a bit about what do you do at Yellow and what's Yellow all about, because it's a very interesting mix that you guys bring to the table of being a venture capital firm and also a market maker.
Sure, Bimlesh. I'll introduce myself very quick first. So I've been in crypto for almost 8 years now, which is many people say is an eternity in crypto, right? However, yeah, I've been through many cycles, but I've joined the team actually 6 years ago. So I've been with the Yellow team since 2019 and have passed through many stages of our development. So currently, I am a VP of growth at the Yellow Group. Yellow Group has quite a few companies, but one of them that we are presenting today is Yellow Capital. Yellow Capital is the not your typical VC that you would think of. We are someone who really takes the holistic approach to helping founders to start their project and get it to the new heights. Okay, so apart from simply investing, what we also do is we are building alongside our founders. We are getting all the angles of the project, including starting from the token design, understanding why they even need, and if they even need a token in the first place. Then we help them with the fundraising and we invest ourselves. We help them with market making strategies and then with the go-to-market execution. And of course, considering the fact that we have a few other companies in the group, we also even help them with the infrastructure access. We can help them with marketing. So yeah, that's the whole idea that, for the founders, we really want to become the part of their project's DNA, not just another name on their cap table.
That's a very refreshing way to look at it, because we truly believe in the skin in the game. It looks like you guys just don't want to be a passive member on the cap table, but really want to get involved with your portfolio companies and in doing this. Amazing. Talk to us a little bit about where is a fund based, where is your team mostly structured, how does one reach out to you, and what stage of startups do you guys typically look at?
Sure. So I would say we are really a global company. I'm talking about pretty much every continent on the earth where we are represented by someone. But probably the biggest part of people are in Thailand, in Chiang Mai. And by the way, in Chiang Mai, another part of our group is Yellow Co-working. And this is a Web3 co-working space where not only our team is based, but we're also hosting quite a few startups. We are providing spaces for our portfolio companies. There are many freelancers and enthusiasts in the space. I really recommend visiting if you are around Chiang Mai. A great city itself, amazing food. Probably, I mean, I've been to quite a few places in Thailand. I still think Chiang Mai is my favorite. So if you are around, visit our co-working space. You can meet our team, and it's just a great place to work, honestly. So answering another question, how do you reach out? There are quite a few ways, of course. Honestly, you can reach out to me directly on Telegram. It's at Stan_Yellow. But the best way would be to go to yellowcapital.com and just fill in the form to get in touch with us.
Amazing.
Any other question that I missed?
I'll weave that into the next one. So
sure.
every fund has got certain investment theses and some philosophies, right? Especially and with Web3, every cycle has its the so-called the in thing, right? That everyone chases after, and every founder is looking either to pivot into the in thing, who are looking at short-term funding success versus truly building it for the long term. As a fund, what is your investment thesis, and what are some of the areas that you guys focus? In that, if you can also talk about a bit of the stage of the startups that is your sweet spot, that will be great.
Sure. So, I mean, I would say that we as a fund, first of all, we are not, and it's very important, we are not looking into any specific areas or narratives, as we see that there is now this hype on the narratives happening in the industry. And we believe this is not the way to do it, and this is especially not the way to build it. So one of the first questions that we might be asking founders who are coming to us with the projects that are just being a part of a narrative today is that, what are you going to do when the narrative is over, right? So here our investment theses are coming. We, first of all, are looking into fundamentals, and only then we are looking into a narrative. So we always look for real product validation, even at early stage. This could be real users, early adoption signs, or unique technological breakthroughs. And honestly, other than that, this is like where we mostly look at. We look at the founders, obviously, we look at the great talents, and this is another, I would say, most priority that we are looking at. There are also some red flags nowadays that we are finding, and where we are trying to not put our capital in. So those would be the projects that overly rely on the KOL hype. We have seen so many projects where all their kind of marketing and user acquisition strategy is built around the KOLs. This is not the way to go. I'm sorry. And the other thing is the airdrop farming. So projects that, again, that all the value that they're bringing to the people and to the space is the airdrop, the potential airdrop. Well, that's definitely not the thing we would be looking into. So the stages, answering your question about the stages that we invest in, they really, really differ. We try to come in when project has at least some timeline understanding and the roadmap understanding. So it means that they're not extremely early. However, sometimes we had the cases when the project was just in the ideation phase, but we either saw a very great talent in the founder, or we realized that the product that they are trying to build is something that can really be revolutionary and not just catching some kind of a wave of hype.
Interesting. I think it's also nice to look at an investor who everyone wants to protect their money, right? Whether it's a prop capital or you have raised money from limited partners or LPs from around the world. As an investor, it becomes very critical to protect your investment, and it's so important to not fall into the narrative that's going on, and not be in that FOMO mode of, hey, am I going to lose out this deal, versus truly look at long-term sustainability of the projects. Great. How much of your conviction do you focus on investing on equity versus token warrant, or equity and token warrant, or purely on token investments, where the pressure is on the founder to go for an early token launch even before they build out their community and create a real demand for the token. So what's your view of investing on the investing instruments itself?
I'll be honest that I would say 97% of cases we are investing in token, just because we are also, I would say, a degen-led kind of a VC. However, also what you mentioned makes a lot of sense, right? That many projects who have committed to launching a token, they are now rushing into the token and focusing on launching a token instead of building a product. But they need to understand that the token is another product, and it sometimes can be like this hero product or a star product of the project. But still, the main theme should be the fundamentals and should be their actual real product that the users will be using, right? So we ourselves are trying to not rush the projects into launching one. When we see the project that has a lot of sense and a lot of potential, and where the founders are understanding that the token doesn't make sense, we would only appreciate it and we would only support it, because there are so many of those that are launching the token just for the sake of fundraising, and we saw that over so many years. There are, I mean, you can count on using your fingers the tokens that actually have a real utility, right? The real utility. I'm not talking about governance or paying fees. Like
Yeah.
that is not the real utility. Let's be honest. So yes, I mean, while we are ourselves in a way that we structure the fund, we are investing in token. We truly appreciate real blockchain products that just keep the token pace.
Got it. Fantastic. Now, how long does your typical from someone applying to you or you scouting a startup that you like, or you get an introduction from the first call to an investment, what's your average timeline of investment that you look at?
That can differ a lot. Like I'm talking about a lot. I think we had projects where we invested and they launched a token like within 2 weeks. And at the same time, we had projects that we've been working with for like 2 years. And I mean, either we haven't invested yet or we have invested earlier and we are expecting some launch of either the product or the token. So that really depends. Still, we ourselves in our thesis, we are trying to, of course, we want to stay liquid as everyone else, and we want to not lock our funds for way too long. But again, when we're coming back to the previous question, we ourselves won't be pushing the project to launch the token just for the sake of their investors getting some money out of it, right? So, but if we are talking about just contacting us and receiving some kind of a ticket, again, it all depends. It all depends on the roadmap of the project. It all depends on the team and how good they are.
Absolutely. I think those are basic sanity checks that anyone would love to have. So from a timeline point of view, your shortest will be about 2 weeks. In taking that decision to invest, and on an average, do you look at say 4 to 6 weeks to make an investment decisions with your internal teams, your investment committee coming together, having multiple rounds of due diligence and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think we can assume that 4 to 6 weeks is the safe number.
Got it. So in a typical challenge in a crypto startup, right? The company is registered in one jurisdiction, your fund is in another jurisdiction, the token entity is in a different jurisdiction. What are the few things that you guys look at from a due diligence point of view to say that what are the chances, one, that you have the ability to protect your investment, and second, the probability of getting higher returns back to your investors? So what are some of the focus areas that you guys look at when you do due diligence in these scenarios?
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, I mean, we understand that regulation is already a reality in Web3, and we can't deny it. Like people who are still thinking that crypto is totally anti-government, etc. I mean, sorry, but of course we all want it, but the reality is different. The regulations are already here. The regulations are in place, and there is no other way we can go around it. Unfortunately, of course, I love to believe in this dreams and vision as well, but the reality is different. So yeah, I mean, treat the we treat it as first principles consideration. So we do, of course, on our end, the basic things. We do have our compliance team that is doing the KYB, the KYC for the directors. We do the jurisdictional checks. But of course, on top of that, what we also do is we assess the project structure. And that, as you mentioned, indeed is getting crazy these days. Like the token is in I don't know, in Bahamas or whatever, in Seychelles, and then the project is in the US. And then yeah, there is a lot to consider, and we are trying to really work with projects that are a bit more serious about it, that have at least the legal opinion, uh, which is actually very rare recently. Like so
Okay.
few projects are going for the legal opinion, surprisingly, which is something that, I mean, you have to do if you want to build long term. You have no choice, and you can try to stay a rebel, but and for like most likely it will not get you very far. Then we are also looking at the token purpose, of course, to understand whether there is a clear utility or at least a governance mechanism. But just to make sure that there is no like the only token purpose is not the disguised fundraising. Then we are looking at the team readiness in terms of understanding the frameworks. I'm talking about MiCA, the US SEC
Right.
environment, etc. And ultimately, we back teams who think proactively about regulations and not those who treat it like an altar though. Basically, not people who are looking to how to avoid them, but people who are understanding and looking for the ways to adapt and understand what can wait for them in at least 2 years. Not even talking about five.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, what's your average ticket size that you guys look to invest at?
So recently we have been, I would say that we have been aggressive in terms of the number of the deals, but the tickets gone a bit, numbers are a bit lower nowadays. So we are talking about somewhere between 30 to $100,000. But in some cases, we are also investing up to $200,000.
Oh, yes. When you typically come in at the private round, you like to come in much more earlier.
Of course, it depends. The thing is that usually when we are discussing this with the client, and sometimes we have this projects that are coming to us a bit later. However, then we look with them at their cap table, and we're looking at the people who were there early, and sometimes early can be within like 2 weeks before it was pre-seed,
Right.
and now we are in whatever round D something. So we look at those, and we are trying to understand with them what is the value behind that money that is brought. So usually when we give the understanding to the project as to what we are bringing to the table, they're always quite happy to put us in the earlier round, even though maybe it might have been close, but they sometimes choose to give us the opportunity to like take someone's ticket or things like that. So many projects have allowed us even in the later stage to get into the earlier kind of ticket. But when we prefer, of course, again, it depends. As I mentioned, we love to stay liquid and to come into the projects that already have at least some understanding of when they are launching what.
Nice, nice. What's the total size of the investment fund that you guys operate with?
To be honest, I don't know. I'm just not aware. I think we could
Got
cut
it.
that question. I'm honestly, I'm not aware.
Sure. So if
We
I were
are
to ask,
open. I mean, we are honestly like we we do have the capacity to go quite with quite a lot of projects these days. The thing is that there are not enough projects that
projects
we
available,
would
yeah,
qualify, honestly. Again, like we're screaming like, hey, we want to invest, but we don't see much quality there.
got it. Got it. What's your what's the number of deals that you guys did in 2024? The total number of deals that you invested in 2024.
I'm also not aware, to be honest.
Okay.
Agent, let's give that one. Again, I'm a agent, the Yellow Capital part in the beginning of this year, so I'm not aware. I think 2024 wasn't too many, to be honest. We became much more active in 2025.
Okay.
Like in the past few months, we became aggressive. In the end, we ended up investing maybe in somewhere between 5 to 10 projects, some on that are on the finalization stage. But again, we are open for more. It's just that we don't see enough quality in the current market, to be honest.
Got it. Well, a couple of things have changed in the last 3 4 months, right? One, with the U.S. elections, there's a lot more visibility, a lot more acceptance. Later this year, we do expect a lot of the banks to become more friendly to crypto in the US based on the executive orders that have been signed by the US president. And that is going to have a trickling down effect on DeFi, CeFi, and in general, the ease of movement of crypto assets through the banking channels worldwide. What are some of the themes that you guys are very excited about in 2025 and 2026 going forward?
Yeah, as you mentioned, we like the changes, especially in the US, where the whole world is following the US, are definitely good for the industry. We can clearly see with all the ETFs in place that the institutions are coming into crypto, and the banks indeed are coming into crypto. However, the question that we are asking is crypto ready for the real institutional and retail adoption? So one issue that we see with that is that crypto, in a way, is still relying on trust a lot. Even though this is not something that Satoshi and Vitalik have been building, right? So when Satoshi
Right.
introduced blockchain itself and Bitcoin, he kind of was trying to eliminate the need to trust the central banks. And then Vitalik, he came up with smart contracts, trying to allowing agreements to happen without intermediaries, right? But still nowadays, when we are talking, for example, like many banks, what we know is they want to get into the crypto just exactly to allow them the trading, to allow the trading to their retail users. However, the problem with that is the current trading environment is still relying on trust a lot. And of course, we're not talking about decentralized trading, Uniswap, etc., because those are not exactly the way to for the retail and for especially for the institutions to get into crypto. They are not going to use the DEX. Like, let's be honest, they are not going to use the DEX in order to trade. But what they will be looking is some good liquidity. And where do we have good liquidity nowadays? It's centralized exchanges. Is the bank going to put $3 billion into Binance?
Yeah.
The answer is no, they're not. They like the regulations won't allow them to do that. We are not ready. So this is something that we are still excited about seeing it being solved, is how the crypto will be able to introduce the trustlessness, to reintroduce, I would say, the trustlessness and remove this trust factor from the equation in order to allow these banks or the retail users to like in order to onboard the next billion users into crypto, right? So this is where what we are excited about the most.
Fantastic. So that does cover a couple of things, right? So it covers a lot of work to be done on stable coins.
Yep.
It does cover a lot of work also to be done in CeFi and DeFi with both crypto and fiat to coexist together rather than
Exactly.
treating them as two separate transactions or business
Yeah.
opportunities. And also, the moment the financial instruments merge or decide to coexist, it brings out a new flavor for real world assets, to get tokenized, including
100%.
tokenization of securities themselves, because liquidity challenges continue to exist worldwide on securities that cannot be tokenized, right? That can be
100%.
only traded with public companies, uh, when companies become public, rather, right? So we see a whole new set of opportunities to come in as these regulations ease up in a certain manner and things get more formalized, right? When the industry gets more formalized, you have a new energy of entrepreneurs who are going to come in to disrupt with a completely new perspective, right? So an existing Ondo, for example, may have to relook at the new opportunities that are coming in and maybe pivot or acquire and then scale from where they are, and so on and so forth.
Yep. That completely agree. Like RWA is definitely becoming uh, and I don't want to use the word narrative because I mentioned
Yeah.
before what I think about the narratives. It's not a narrative, it's a reality. Like, meme coins were a narrative, but
Yeah.
RWA is a reality that we are coming into, and we should understand that most of the things are going to be on chain eventually, which brings us a whole lot of new opportunities of the way we are even thinking about them, of the way we are owing them, of the way we are trading them. So yes, 100% very excited about the RWA space. We see a lot coming in. It's just that again, I think that we need to make sure, like, there is this, as we tend to think, like, okay, us crypto people like rebels and then these TradFi guys, but now they made a move, but are we ready for this move?
Right.
Uh, do we have all the infrastructure in place?
Right. Absolutely. I think that's going to be a continuous evolution process in trying to make sure even the simple user experience for a new user coming into crypto is
Exactly.
as seamless as what it is to deal with a normal fiat experience.
That's exactly the truth. So just one quick story. I was in Hong Kong, and basically we had this challenge from someone, from our chairman, that we need to sell the token, the yellow token that we are launching soon, to a very random person who knows nothing about crypto, right? So actually, I ended up finding a lawyer. She was a very reputable lawyer, and we spoke a lot. I introduced her to crypto world. She knew nothing about it. I explained to her a lot of things. She's like, "Oh wow, I want to buy this token." And she said, "I want to buy $888 worth." It's eights in Chinese culture, and in
Okay.
Hong Kong is a very big thing. So she's like, "Okay, how do I do it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's. You just get MetaMask and you send USDT." But then you know what happened? She's like, "Okay, she's got the MetaMask. Luckily, there was a kind of a fiat on ramp there. She had to pass the KYC. She passed the KYC. She eventually managed to bought USDT on her MetaMask. And she's like, "Okay, what do I do now?" And I'm like, "You're sending it now?" And she's trying to send it. She says, "I can't." Then I'm looking into it and I'm like, "Of course, you don't have Ethereum." She's like, "What is Ethereum?" And I have to
Right.
imagine like these people who have no idea. And she's like, "Okay, I've got this USDT, whatever it is." And now have to explain to her, "Oh, now you also need to buy Ethereum because you need that to cover your fees,
Yes.
but you can only use it on this network. If you need it on another network, you need Ethereum on that other network." And all of this, like, I mean, I'm sorry, we are not ready. Of course, there are, and we are looking a lot into account abstraction. It was, uh, people spoke a lot about it last year. This year, for some reason, I think it's getting quieter, which is very weird for me because I think account abstraction was probably one of the biggest breakthroughs of the past years. This is
Yeah.
something that allows us to onboard this next billion users into crypto. So building the apps for regular people, not trying to build like something that we see again in the industry is that it is this bunch of nerds ourselves who are building things for one another. We
Right.
are not building products for this next billion user, and that's exactly what we need. And this is where, again, we as Yellow Capital, we are looking at people who think about onboarding this next billion users into the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree there. Um, moving forward on this stand, you as a market maker have a very unique advantage of when you invest in these startups and you invest in their tokens, you also have visibility on their token launch or roadmap. And every startup that is getting ready towards a token launch needs the help of a market maker. And having great market makers makes half of that token launch
Yep.
readiness journey that much more easier. So share with us as to what was the thought behind having a market making function inside Yellow Capital, and do you mandate startups that that get investment from Yellow Capital have to take the market making function, or they work as two separate functions that the decision is still left with the choice of the founder?
Yep. Sure. So first of all, I totally agree about the importance of the market making in the project. Uh, we can say that market maker can make or break the project. Unfortunately, like in the ideal world, it shouldn't work like this. But what we are facing right now is exactly that. The recent case, like what 2 weeks ago, what happened to Mantra, again,
Right.
the great RWA blockchain in the space, we can see how they can impact the whole project and the whole basically what people think about the project, because I think nowadays the sentiment around Mantra is not as good, right? Same we can think about what happened to Movement I don't know, 1 month ago, and there are many and many examples where the wrong market maker has basically canceled everything that the project has been doing for years. So we understand the importance of that, and we ourselves are building Yellow Capital market making side on this kind of again. So first I thought no trust, but here with the market maker you need trust. By the way, we could think of being like building a trustless market maker, but this is something that is probably technically hard
Right.
nowadays. But we are trying to become this long-term and real trusted partner for the project. And yes, answering the other question of yours, usually our investment and market making go hand in hand. Why? Because again, we know the industry very well. We know what other market makers can do and do to the project. So we want to protect our investment. And whenever we are doing both investment and market making, we are aligning the incentives with the project and
Right.
with the project owners. Now, answering the other question, how we get into market making, actually, historically, we started as a market maker and moved into a VC part a bit later. So our founder, the founder of Yellow, is Alexis Sirkia, and he's also a co-founder of GSR. So GSR
Oh,
is
okay.
probably one of the biggest ones in the world. In 2014, he founded GSR, and in 2017, he left to build Yellow Capital. So we started as a market maker, and I would say that we invested back in the days a bit, but it was more on the advisory, on the incubation and acceleration. We started a few quite big projects. Some of them have been acquired by Binance eventually. So yeah, we went through different phases, but market making has actually always been our bread and butter, something where we were the best, and something that now we are just adding value with our investment and the other services that we have.
Got it. Got it. Just to follow up on this, what is your unique value proposition on the market making function, to say that when a founder is looking at different market makers, to say that what is that I'm going to get from Elo that I'm not going to get from any other market maker in the ecosystem? Is it your deal structure? Is it your involvement in the project? Or is it something else?
I would say that most important thing here would be that, I mean, we are still being a niche market maker. We are not taking 90% of projects that are coming to us. Why? Because first of all, again, we want to work with projects that are that are good. And second of all, we want to become this long-term partner who can actually allocate time and actually allocate resources for the project. We are seeing many of these market makers who are taking hundreds of customers while not having that big stuff. And of course, the projects of those would never talk to the founder, for example, of the market maker. In our case, we are trying to only take a few customers, to always have a dedicated team that only works with their project. We want to always have our executive team to be able to talk to those projects, to advise them. And again, even I mentioned, for example, Alexis Sirkia, who's been in the industry for so many years, who started many big companies. He's very often getting in the meeting with the client just to advise them on how to do better. And this is something that you would never see with a bigger market maker, where the person of that level would get in the call with you and just help you walk you through all your markets. Like recently, we've been talking to one of these. It's actually a top 100 coin market cap project, and we've gotten the call with them. We saw the ways for them to actually become much better. There were a few very small improvements that they needed, which actually allowed them to bootstrap the project a lot. I won't be talking about those, of course, in detail here, but
Sure.
those were very simple. I mean, very simple steps that they had to do in order to bootstrap the token quite a bit.
Fantastic. On your website, I found Traveler.com as one of your portfolio companies. I've been a big fan of what they've been able to achieve. Especially in the last 12 to 18 months. We have a portfolio company called Book, BUK, who started off in a very similar path that Traveler and then pivoted to become a travel infrastructure company. So I'd love to understand, about this investment, what you guys, saw in the Traveler team. Treat it like a case study conversation to say that, hey, at what stage did you get in? What are you seeing? What got you excited about this investment? Is this going to be one of your alpha investments in your portfolio?
Yes, exactly. This is actually one of the very early one that we had. I'm not even sure when this happened. We probably first invested even before I joined in 2019. So it's been
Okay. Really
quite some
early.
time now.
Yeah.
It was extremely early, but we have supported them from the very early days. And from what I know, again, since it was way even before I joined, it's the team that is something that was most exciting about the project. Especially Juan is our very good friend since all those years, and I believe he has managed to build something that that helped. And again, he's built the project for people, for regular people. I mean, of course, I think still most of the users are the crypto
Crypto users,
people,
yeah.
but now he built something that allow this regular people who come to crypto, who make some money, to spend those money in some real world economy and get their vacation, get their vacation done, not just buy another meme coin or another NFT, but
Right.
get something into the real world. And this is exactly where we are looking at.
Yes. Cool. I think as we wrap up this conversation today, any parting thoughts, for someone who is now trying to build or who's looking to raise investments right now, when you say there are not enough quality deals coming your way that convinces you to invest, what are some of those things that you are looking at in 2025 to invest up to say $200,000 in token investments
Mhm.
that you
Yeah,
can share with the
I would
founders?
say, yeah, I would say, and repeat it again and again, build for people. Don't build for the other. I mean, of course, we need to build for the other crypto people, and we need some tools and infrastructures, etc. But try to focus on something that will bring a real value to the world. And this is exactly when you are doing that, you might not even need to come to us, because if you are doing that, you will find the real users which will share the word, which will share the thoughts with their friends, where you will basically get a real natural adoption if you build something that people will just use on their own without any incentive, without the incentive of the airdrop or things
Right.
like that. If you build the product that people need, the VCs will come to you. You won't even need to come to the VCs.
Absolutely. Very, very rightly said. I think that's the key in trying to find that true problem solution fit, and then heading towards product market fit there.
Yeah,
One
exactly.
last question. Any recent deals that you're super excited about, or any, and also share with me a deal that you guys would have loved to be in but could not get in.
Uh, can't share those at this stage, to be honest.
Got it. Sure. I think
Unfortunately,
this has been a
unfortunately.
great conversation, Stan. So for those who
Yeah.
are looking to reach out to Yellow Capital, do visit their website, yellowcapital.com. That's the best way to apply and get a response back from the Yellow investment team. Stan can be reached at Stan_Yellow on Telegram, and he is based out of Poland. So great guy to connect with and reach out to get access to the Yellow team. So thanks so much, Stan. Thanks for sharing
Yeah.
time and sharing a lot more insights and perspectives on what you guys do at Elo.
Thank you, Bimlesh. Thanks everyone who listened to this. Really, really excited to talk to the community of foundership. Again, yes, Bimlesh mentioned where you can find us. Get in touch and let's see how we can help you.
Thank you so much. So with this, we wrap up today's conversation. Just as a reminder, if you're looking to get your token launch ready plans in the next 3 to 6 months, head out to foundershiphq.com, because we have built a portfolio of about 55 companies. Our top 10 are valued at 330 million. And 4 of our projects have done their token launch in the last 4 months, and we are looking at another 6 more during the rest of the year. So with this, we wrap up. And if you have watched till this end, do us and do this additional step, encourage us a little more, hit the like and subscribe button and share it with another founder who is looking to fundraise, and would love to have them to reach out to Yellow Capital and to Foundership. And both of us would love to be part of your journey. So with this, thank you so much, and have a great day, great evening, and good night to wherever you are in the rest of the world. Thank you so much.